Yo, what is going on, guys? Your man Zeus is back, and today I have a match of 2v2. We're doing Storm and Life combo again. What is it called? This time we're fighting a Death and Life combo, which the Death is using critical gear and the Life is using Jade gear. It seems like in 2v2 nowadays there's always a Life player with Jade, and there's some school with crit gear. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Life with Jade, it could be any school with Jade, and then the other school use like a critical gear. So one guy is a heavy hitter and the other guy's like a tank, pretty much. And I don't blame him because it's a good combo. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the Death guy we were fighting was good, but there were a lot of times where he could have killed me where he didn't. So yeah, that's that. And that played a large role in us finishing the game in only like 30 minutes, because normally team matches go really long, like hours, and 4v4s will last sometimes a day, like a straight whole day, which is pretty nuts if you ask me, but those games are fun. Anyways, right off the bat, right, like over here in this situation, I knew the Life was going to dispel the Life player, or Jacob I mean, so what I did was that I'd Life dispel him just to anticipate his Life dispel and prevent that, because over here I was going to die, and I knew that he would dispel him to prevent the heal. So you got to think of these things whenever you're doing PvP. It's way different from second turn though. From first turn you can anticipate and act accordingly. From second turn you have to think 2 turns ahead. And make your moves, you know, as if you were 2 turns ahead of where you actually are. So that's a difficult thing about 2v2, from second turn, that is. But once you get the hang of it, take some practice. Playing from second turn isn't as bad as it first is. But you always got to watch out for things like Earth and Stormlord combos like we're going to do later on in the match, which will end up killing the Death. But yeah, you gotta watch out for combos in 2v2, especially if the Life player is first, like we have over here. In our situation, the Life player was first, and we had first turn, which is like the best combo. Really good situation that we were in. But going into the match, usually what I like to do when I'm playing a PvP is that I'll start off just being neutral, you know, just blading a little bit here and there, shielding, you know, just doing basic stuff. And then later on in the game, once I understand what gear my opponents are using and what their strategies are, that's when I start making specialized move and start discarding cards, so on and so forth, and deciding when to attack, when not to attack, when to heal, when not to heal, you know, so on and so forth. You notice over here that I started plaguing just because I was hoping, or Jacob's gonna heal, but the reason, oh, I guess he didn't. So I said, if these guys, the Death had 4 pips, I knew he wasn't going to vampire me. I knew he was going to at least wait for a Deer Knight or something like that. So I said, I'm going to infallible this round. And since they're going to kill me next round, I might as well just Tempest and get rid of their shields, which is what I'm going to do. Usually storms, when you're about to go down, when you're about to die, usually you should Tempest just to get rid of shields, do some extra damage, maybe trigger some pets on your team. It's a good, you know, good rule to have as a storm, is if you're dying, just throw out a Tempest or a Stormlord or whatever you can do. And over here he ends up fizzling, which was pretty weird. I did the Plague in hopes that when he healed me I'd have enough health, and with the Plague I'd be able to tank the hit. But he ended up fizzling, so I think he ends up healing me right now or shielding me or something. We'll see what happens. Oh, he ends up Life dispelling the Life. But yeah, we're still not, you know, the best at this 2v2 combo. There are a lot of people that are much better than us at this 2v2 combo, the Storm and Life. But we only done like 4 matches or so with this setup, so it takes time. It takes time getting used to each other's playstyles. It takes time getting used to, you know, fixing our decks, our TC decks. And as a Storm, I feel that my treasure card deck is so important, because in times like this where you're stuck, you gotta always be able to pull out the card that you need, you know, right away. Like, there's no time to hesitate. And over here, like I said, I was about to die, so I just threw out the Tempest, got rid of their shields. And yeah, like, this Death was actually using full crit gear. He was using the boots. So I knew that at most he'd have 100 some block, which is what he had. He was using the block ring. So he had like 113 block. So I knew right off the bat that I was going to be able to land a critical on him. So my goal, or my plan headed into this situation, was to pretty much survive the situation I'm in right now. The Death has full pips, so let him hit me, let the Guardian Spirit revive, get my health up, get my shields up. Then when I'm comfortable, I'll start blading, you know, and then see if Jacob can Earth, and then I can Stormlord, which is what we ended up doing. But yeah, that's the situation I was in, and I knew even if the Life healed him, I'd be able to Tempest and get off a critical and kill him. Because with my 320 critical, chances are I'm going to critical. And even if I don't, I have enough damage, and, you know, Pierce, since the Death has like no resist whatsoever. I think he had like 19. I have enough damage to, you know, take him out even with a low pip Tempest. And notice that the Life Wizard only has a lot of health, 4,500. That's because he's using a amulet. He's not using a mastery, which is a big fail on his part, to be honest with you. Like, he could have spammed Myth Dispels on Jacob if he had a Myth mastery and wouldn't have allowed our Earthquake to go off. So for that combo, that's why it's flawed. Also, when I was thinking about their setup, I really think that Death combo is great, because most people are going to fight in 2v2 are going to be Storm Life combos. So if you have the person with the life as a Death, what you can do is that you can use the block boots, critical hat, robe, and critical wand. So you have like around 280, 290 critical, something like that, 270, I'm not entirely sure. But with that critical that you have, you could still knock out storms every single time with your critical, since storms only have a little bit over 100 blocks, so it will not block the 280 critical. If it does, it's maybe once or twice out of luck, but most of the time it won't. And over here I knew that I was going to die again, so I threw out the Tempest. Looking back, what I should have done is I should have enfeebled the Death, but I had a feeling that he would critical like a, some big hit attack on me and end up killing me even without blades. So I decided to throw that out, but looking back, I should have just enfeebled him, or wait, turn and enfeeble. But this life over here, spamming Fates, I don't know, it wasn't a smart move. I think the life, what he should have done in this situation was to stun us. That would have been a great move on his part. And over here I didn't have Pips to enfeeble, so I told Jacob to Earth if he could, so that I got rid of his blades. But let's say that life had, what do they call it? Binding Light, which is stun to everyone on our team. Our life would be stunned and I would be stunned. So pretty much the Death would have an attack, or a turn to attack with like 3 blades on him. He could do a Avenging Fossil on me and end up doing some damage on Jacob as well. And the turn where he uses Avenging Fossil, the life could Life Dispel, and then from there keep the Life Dispels going and then Doom up. So that's the strategy that I would have used if I were the Death. Now a lot of people would question my move over here of enfeebling the Death's one blade that he has. But looking back at the Skeletal Dragon that he used on me, that, if I remember, did around 900 a turn or so, with a weakness on him. Yeah, it was nuts. So I said I want to get rid of that one blade. 45% extra damage is going to be really bad. It's going to hurt me and kill me. So I said if I enfeeble him and Jacob uses a Plague, I'll have, maybe a couple hundred health left. And he ends up using a Medusa on Jacob, which was really shocking to me. I mean, I get the 2-turn stun, yes, but why now? I mean, he doesn't have anything to kill me right now. He has 7 pips. Even if he scarecrowed, he probably wouldn't kill me with the resist that I have, 30 resist. So even if he has like 11 pierce, critical scarecrow will not do enough damage, 2,800. And then Jacob would have enough turn to, make a move and heal. And I decided to keep up my cleanses over here in order to, cleanse Jacob in case the Nathan uses a Gnomes on him, which he ends up doing often in the match. Actually, I think he does it twice or 3 times. But I'm going to say one thing. Storm with Death Amulet is awesome. Over here I was questioning this move because the life has a Jade Gear. And that's another downfall to Jade Gear, man. You don't have any attack. And with a setup like this, Death is not as heavy as a hitter as Storm is. With a setup like that, you're going to need the life to hit when needed. Or at least that's how I feel. Unless you're going to blade stack the Death, which they don't do a really good job of because I have Enfeeble. There's no way they can stop that. And I end up keeping like 6 or 7 Enfeebles in my 2v2 deck. And over here I get really lucky and he does not critical, which was a really, phew for me. I felt safe. It was awesome. Had some turn. Now I have time to recover, blade up, and hit hard. So now at this point, all I was thinking is get my health back to full. Death is out of pips, and if the life hit me, he still wouldn't kill just because he has Jade Gear. He has barely no attack. Over here I decided to put the Storm Bubble up just to give a little more power. I was hesitant at first because I felt that the Death would doom, but then again, even if he doomed, I would be able to Tempest or Storm Lord and knock him out, and have the life on his toes. So either way, I was in a pretty good position, especially with that Satyr on me. And Avenging Fossil attack every round won't do much, just 130, so I'm not worried about that. At this point I wanted to do a Sirens with my 15% Pierce, knowing the life had Jade Gear. I know I had a Pierce Blade on me, so with 15% Pierce, Treasure Card on my Sirens, plus 10% Pierce of my Blade, plus 4% of my Wand, I'd have around 29 Pierce, which would get the life effectively to 52 minus 9. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now. It's going to be like 43 resist or so. Yeah, 43 resist for the life, which is not too bad. And with 800 base damage of the Sirens, 830 plus a couple blades in my Storm Bubble would do a good amount of damage. As you can see over here, I was discarding and trying to draw cards, but I could not find, sirens. And it didn't really matter because Jacob was looking for his earth and couldn't find it. So I decided to just go for the enfeeble, knowing that I would have 7 pips. And if I get a power pip next round, I'll have enough to sirens, and if not, I still have enough to Stormlord. So I wasn't worried. Luckily, the death didn't end up hitting with like a ghoul or something. And even if he did, it wouldn't have done much, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, the death didn't have enough pips to attack. So that gave us round. It bought us some time to actually earth and get our head off. Over here, I just felt the need to be a little cocky and type in the chat, this is how you critical. But that's just for the fun, just having some fun. No, ill intentions. Because these guys are a good team. They're not bad. They could have done a few things better, but so could we. Every team has their flaws. So right over here, I did a great hit, 7k, which was awesome. Life ended up blocking. It didn't do much just because of his resist, but that was okay. And this is what I was talking about, the rebirth. So, good thing is that the death didn't have much incoming boost, which is a freaking stupid move on his part. If I was death, if I was that guy, I'd at least try to have 50 incoming heal, which is what my storm has, 50. And at this point, I knew that the life would either hit me or rebirth, so I decided to just go ahead and begule him. That's why I love the death amulet, man. It's just amazing. And over here, it made a huge difference in the game because look, he towered. Next round, I wouldn't have been able to kill the death if he did not, hit his tower. So this Forest Lord took out a tower and the absorb, which was awesome. It was a great move on my part for the begule. But I end up waiting another turn over here to hit. I'm not sure why I did that. I thought I had 1 pip. It wouldn't be enough to kill. But looking back, 85. Yeah, it wouldn't be enough to kill. So I decided to just blade and wait for another pip. The death ends up using Fortify, which is a really, really, really bad move on his part. If I was in his shoes, I would have went for the, Wraith on me, and end up doing like around 1600 damage with a critical. He would have gotten back 800 health. That would have been a great move on his part. But he maybe was waiting for like critical sacrifice, on himself, or a critical Vaughn monster on me. And over here I get another critical on him, which did great damage, 2200. If the death had used block boots, this game would have been way different, man. We probably would have lost, or it would have dragged on, much longer than it did. So that's a major flaw on their part. A major flaw on my part is not having death block, but then again, I need my critical, so there's no way I can get death block unless I use the death crafted ring, which I'm not using in a million years because I want storm block. I'd rather have storm block over death block any day of the week, just because you run into storm more often than you do death. Over here, we just decide to hold him down with our dispels, but this guy ends up fleeing, which was a good and bad thing. Bad thing because we wanted to actually play the match. Good thing because he ended up finishing it off earlier, and we get to leave. But yeah, that's that. I was gonna blade stack and do like a huge hit on him or something, but that's that. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in a comment. Leave it a rating if you enjoyed it. Leave a like. Share it with your friends. Share it on Twitter. But that's about it. Thanks, guys. Peace.